Students, now we are going to study chapter number 17, Forest, our lifeline. We depend on forest for our survival. From the air we breathe to the wood we use, beside providing habitats for animals and livelihoods for humans, forests also offer watershed protection, prevent soil erosion, and mitigate climate change. This chapter is going to discuss about forest profile, importance of forest, and interdependence of plants and animals. The consequences of loss of forest and conservation of forest are also discussed in this chapter. Students, do you know how forest looks like? So I am going to show you a picture of a forest. See student, this is how the forest looks like. It is made up of so many number of trees around, number of vegetation, number of trees, and number of different types of plant. The forest floor is covered with a layer of dead and decaying leaves, fruits, seeds, twigs, and herbs. It provides favorable condition for seeds to germinate into seedlings. Many of these seedlings grow up into trees. Let's do an activity to understand how these decayed matters help a seed to grow. Okay, we all know forest is a very important part of our life. If the forest is not present on the earth, what will happen? All the humans will die. Let's do an activity to understand how these decayed matters help a seed to grow. Activity. Show that a heat is evolved during the decay of organic matter. Material. A hand trowel, thermometer, organic waste, and water. Organic waste you can include leaves and kitchen waste, example fruit and peels of the vegetables or the peels of the fruit. Let's do. Dig a small pit and put leaves and vegetable inside it. Cover it with soil and pour some water on it. The leaves and vegetable waste in the pit will start decaying, means it will starts degrading, spoiling. Remove the covering of soil after 3-4 days. Measure the temperature inside the pit and compare it with the temperature outside that of the pit. Observation. You will feel warm inside the pit. Temperature inside the pit is 45 degrees while the temperature outside the pit is 37 degrees Celsius. Heat is evolved during the process of decay which gives warmth to seeds to grow easily. Forests are rich in abundant habitat. Habitats means home, full of trees, shrubs, and all kinds of animals. They are important to the natural system that sustain us. They are powerhouses of the biodiversity. Now students, in this activity what you have to do, you have to put everything in this pit what you have made, and after some days and you have to cover it with soil. What will happen after some days, you have to measure the temperature of this pit. What you will observe that there will be a heat evolve, means heat will be present. The inside area will be what? It will be warm, and that you can see in the thermometer. And outside area will be little bit cold enough. Okay, so by this we can state that heat is evolved during the process of decay. Whenever anything is going to spoil, there will be heat produced. Okay, or it will only be in the case of biodegradable material. Forest profile. What do you mean by forest profile? India has a diverse range of forests and their uses are equally diverse. About 1/3 of the world's surface is covered with forest. Forests are different from one another depending upon where they are located. Climate, physical features, soil type are some of the main factors that determine the type of trees and animals found in the forest. A mature forest can be divided into 4 layers. Now see students, this is the picture of the forest. The uppermost layer of the branches, which serves as a dense roof of the tree, is in the ground is called, over the ground in a forest is called canopy. That you can see students. This part of the The layer where trees branch off from the tree trunk is called crown. Okay, from where the branches are coming out from the tree is called crown area of the forest. Now under that layer, the shaded layer of the forest where low light is available is called understory, where there is usually dark and where shrubs, ferns, grasses and weeds grow below this layer. The next layer is the forest floor. Litter of plants, remains of dead plants and animals, and decomposers such as bacteria and fungi are found on the forest floor. Now we are going to see a picture of the forest profile. See student, this is the forest profile. Now you can see emergent layer, okay, which is at the top level of the forest. Now under that layer, canopy layer, where you can find the uppermost layer of the branches which serves as the dense roof of the trees. You can see a dense roof of the trees. Then it will be known as canopy layer. Emergent layer is the topmost layer of the forest. Now canopy layer, where you can see the dense roof of the plant. Emergent means topmost layer, okay, where they get direct sunlight. Now understory layer means what student? The shaded layer of the forest where low light is available, not too much light is passing at this type of layer. Okay, what do shrubs, ferns and grasses you can see grow here in the understory layer. Now when you come more below that, you will find forest floor. Floor means what? As a ground. Okay, now you can see different types of animals are living on the forest floor. Also what you will find, litter of plants, remains of dead plants. Okay, the leaves from this plant or the fruits from this forest will fall onto this ground. So dead plants and animals also, and other types of bacteria and fungi are also found on the forest floor. See, you can see animals, birds are found on this floor. Then you can see snakes in the canopy layer, understory layer, grasses, and fourthmost layer, forest floor, where you can see lion, tiger on this forest floor. Importance of forest. Since ancient times, human beings are dependent on forest for all their basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter. Forests play a major role in our life. Why forests are important, students? Because we all are dependent on forest for our basic needs, for food, clothing and shelter. Now what do you mean by soil erosion? Now forests play a major role in our life because it provides us with various medicinal plants, paper. Okay, now soil erosion. Now first important of the forest is soil erosion. It helps to prevent soil erosion. Now what do you mean by erosion? Erase means what? Erase means to remove. Okay, and soil erosion means what? Removal of the soil from its place. Okay, now displacement of upper layer. Displacement means what? Displacement means to remove from its original place. Okay, that is called displacement. Displacement of upper layer of soil is known as soil erosion. It is a form of soil degradation. It helps to prevent soil erosion. Means washing off of the nutrient level of the soil, because there are various causes of the soil erosion, excessive flood, and if there are no trees in that place, what will happen? Whenever the wind is going to flow or the flood is going to come, it is going to take away the first layer, which is the most nutritive layer of the soil, okay, which is very bad for the plants. Forest prevents soil erosion and floods. Roots of the tree bind means tightly hold the soil particles together and prevent the soil from being washed or blown. If there are so many trees all around, what is going to happen? No amount of wind or rain can take away the soil from its original place. Second, forest climatic temperature control. Forest also helps to keep the climate cool. Forest or trees manage to keep the surroundings air cool. Even trees transpire. The amount of water vapor in the atmosphere increases, and thus forests are responsible for bringing the rain. Forests will bring the rain. More forest in that area, more rain will come because they are responsible. What is happening? Transpiration means what? The moving of water vapor from the excess of water vapor is evaporated through the stomata from the forest, and when they go up inside the atmosphere, what will happen? It tries to bring the rain. It also acts as a wind breakers. Trees such as coconuts and palms acts as shield, means protection, or windbreakers against storms and strong tidal waves. Here you can see. Trees helps to regulate the climate of a place by keeping the surrounding air cool. They absorb water from the ground through their roots and then release some of it as a water vapor, and this process is known as transpiration. Okay, this process is known as transpiration. When they release some of the water as a water vapor from the stomata, that process is called transpiration, and that is a very important process to bring about the rain. You know, students, forest also keeps control on the global warming. Do you know what is a global warming? The rising temperature of Earth's climate system is called global warming. Global means what? The Earth is getting hotter day by day, and that is known, our Earth is a globe, and the warming of the globe will be known as a global warming. Why it happens? Because of excess carbon dioxide and other pollutants from the industries and greenhouse gas collect in the atmosphere and absorb sunlight. That's why this global warming happens. When plants make their food by the process of photosynthesis, they use carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the main greenhouse gas. Since plants use this gas in photosynthesis, amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere decreases, very important, and thus global warming can be controlled. Now, if you are going to live in the city side area, you will find more than the trees, you will find vehicles, and vehicles release harmful pollutants such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide in the air. If this carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide is not inhaled by the trees and not purified, what will happen? We are going to inhale that carbon dioxide and we are going to get sick. Okay, carbon dioxide is a waste product for us, and oxygen is a good product for us, because we inhale oxygen and we live. Okay, and plants inhale carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, which is a very important part of this Earth's environmental system. See, if the no forest will be there, what will happen? The global warming will keep on increasing. The gases such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide will keep on increasing and harm us indirectly. Forest gives us timber. Timber is a type of a wood prepared for use in buildings and carpentry. We get timber from trees, example cell, mahogany, teak, and rosewood. Several timber-based industries, for example plywood, sawmills, paper and pulp, and cardboards, are all dependent on the trees. Other products from the forest. We get spices, nuts, medicines, essential oils, and much more from the forest. Forests are the sources of resins. It is used to make paint and varnish. Latex, it is used to make a rubber. Bamboo, used as a fodder, and it is important raw material for the manufacture of paper and pulp. Also basket. Cane, used to make walking sticks, furniture, photo frames, screens, mats, etc. Forests play a vital role in purifying air. They release a huge amount of oxygen into the air. They serve as a sink for carbon dioxide, which is being added in the air. Forests, especially rainforests, are referred to as the lungs of the earth. What is the work of the lungs in a body? To purify air, okay, to take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So what they are doing, trees are also called the lungs of the earth because they are taking carbon dioxide and they are giving us oxygen. Now see, students, you can see this picture. See, this CO2 is released into the air, capture and separation, carbon waste production, fuels, power, wood, plastic. Okay, we are getting this carbon dioxide uptake by forest biomass plantation and degrade mine lands that are restored. Pond with the bacteria. Pipelines are also, you can see, coal bed, methane formation, geological formation, depleted oil gas reservoir. This is called deep aquifer. Here you can find the purest of water. One of the 12 mega biodiversity countries in the world. The country India is divided into 10 geographic regions. The country is also one of interdependence of plants and animals. Biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. Components of our environment interact with and influence each. If any of the component is missing from the environment, life of all the living organisms will be defected, causing a disturbance. There are two types of interaction in the environment: interaction between living organisms and interaction between living and non-living things. As you can see in this picture, this is the interaction between all the living organisms, and here you can see the interaction between the plants as well as sunlight as well as soil. Food chain begins with a plant or parts of the plant. A food chain shows the relationship between different organisms and transfer of energy among organisms in the form of food. This is a very important line. When a plant is eaten by an animal, which in turn is eaten by another animal, a food chain is formed. In the given food chain, in this particular picture, what you can see is the grasshopper. This is the primary producer. Okay, it prepares the food with the help of the sunlight. Grasshopper eats the leaf of the grass. The bird eats the grasshopper. The snake eats the bird, and the owl eats the snake. Here, grass is the producer as it produces food using sunlight by photosynthesis, while other organisms are consumer as they are dependent on the plant. We all are indirectly dependent on the plant, and plant is dependent on the sunlight. It prepares its own food. It is not dependent on any of these components. It prepares its own food from the sunlight. Okay, that's why it is called producer. And while the other components of this food chain are called consumer. Why they are called consumer? Because they are interlinked and interdependent on each other for food resource. Fungi and other microorganisms. Fungi and other microorganisms are decomposers as they decompose the last consumer when it dies. Now in this particular picture, grasshopper is eating grass and bird is eating grasshopper. Snake is eating bird and mongoose is eating snake, which is in turn is eaten by wolves. And what happens to the last consumer when it dies? What happens? Its body will be degraded into the soil by microorganisms and fungi and bacteria, which will be in turn nutritive for the soil, and it will grow new plants from the. And what these plants will do? Again, this chain will start. It will prepare its own food. Again, the insect will start eating plants, and this in turn will have a chain of energy, which is also called as a food chain. See here, student, you can see a picture: sunlight, producer, and who are dependent on the producer, herbivorous. Okay, means those who are eating grass, and first primary consumer, the first step. Secondary consumer, which will be omnivorous, and tertiary consumer, carnivores, and tertiary consumer, carnivorous, and decomposers. Okay, when these die, what will happen? Decomposers such as microbacteria and fungi will decompose it into the soil. Animals that hunt and feed on other animals are called predators. Animals that are hunted and eaten by predators are called prey. Plants are producers, and many animals depend on plants for their food. They are called primary consumer. Now these plants, they are getting directly energy from the sunlight. That's why they are called primary producers. Okay, and these components of this food chain will be known as consumer. Now for example, I would like to explain predators and prey. For example, grass is being eaten by grasshopper, which in turn frog is eating grasshopper. Now what is happening here? Who is a prey? Grasshopper is a prey and frog is a predator. But when snake is going to eat frog, frog will become prey and the snake will become predator. Okay, so those who are going to eat is called predator and those who are being eaten will be known as prey. Okay. Example, plants are eaten by many organisms such as rabbit, goat, mouse, etc. Similarly, mouse is eaten by snake, wildcat and jackal. Organisms which feed on primary consumer are called secondary consumer. Okay, for example, goat. For example, goat is being eaten by jackal. Okay, so organisms which feed on primary consumer are called secondary consumer. So goat, snake and wildcat will eat the goat, or snake and wildcat will eat the rabbit. Okay, so they will be known as secondary consumer. And also they can eat mouse, and mouse is eating what? Green plants. So your primary consumer, those who are eating grass. Secondary consumer means what? Those who are eating primary consumer. And tertiary consumer means what, students? Those who are eating secondary consumer. So wildcat and jackal are eaten by lion. So lion is considered as tertiary consumer. So here, after the death of last consumer, scavengers feed on them and the remains are decomposed by the microorganisms. These microorganisms are also called as decomposers. Now, first of all, when you look at the food chain, you can make many food chains. Okay. All the living organisms, when die, are decomposed into mineral salt, water and carbon dioxide. Most of these substances are turned to the soil to be used again by the plants. Thus, an organism can be a part of more than one food chain. In a community, the food chains are interconnected and form a food web. So, this you can see is the connection of the food chain. Okay, and these in turn will lead to a food web. Now, for example, now plant is eaten by goat and goat is being eaten by jackal. Okay, now plant is also being eaten by rabbit, which in turn is eaten by wildcat, and wildcat is eaten by the, so there is so many food chains here. And when the food chains come together, where there is a web of food chains, and when the chains are interconnected, they will form a food web. As you can see in this particular picture, you can make as many food chain in this particular picture. Now see, mouse is eating green plants, mouse is eaten by owl. Okay, and when owl is going to decompose in the soil by the decomposers, for example microorganisms, what will happen? They will give nutrition value to the plant, and again a new plant will start growing out of it. In a food chain, all the energy is transferred from one organism to another organism. This is because some of the energy is used by organism to carry out life processes and activity. Some energy is lost by the environment in the form of heat. Therefore, only 10% of the energy present at one feeding level is passed on to the next level. Each and every living organism, including human, is a part of a food chain or a food web, and thus all living beings are interdependent on each other for food. Now, as you can see particular picture, now for example, rabbit is going to eat grass and it is going to consume 1000 calories, kilocalories. Now, if this rabbit is going to be eaten by snake, he will only get 100 calories out of the rabbit. Okay. And if this snake is going to be eaten by eagle, the eagle will not get 1000 calories or nor 100 kilocalories. It will only get 10 kilocalories. So this is the rule that whenever energy flows, only 10% of the energy present at one feeding level will pass on to the next level. Plants and animals. Plants and animals depend on each other for some other things too. These are, we all are dependent on each other. Now how the forest provides shelter to plants, for example monkeys. They absorb the harmful effects by natural elements such as sunlight and rainfall, thus protecting the animal. This forest is providing shelter to the animal. and this is how it is helping out the animals. Now pollination, what do you mean by pollination? Several insects and birds, for example butterflies and bees, become agents that bring about pollination of flower, thereby assisting in fruit formation, because they will carry the seeds from one place to another. Okay, and this way the plants will spread across the globe and no plants will grow from it, because we all know trees cannot walk. Seed dispersal. Animal help in seed dispersal also. Seeds of several plants depend on animals for dispersal, which is important for the survival of those far off places. Animals such as monkey and birds eat fruits along with the seed. These animals keep moving from one place to another. The seeds of the fruit that eat come out with the excreta and get scattered to the distant places, and this is how new plants will grow. So pollination means insect will spread the pollen grains, and this will give rise to a new variety of plants. And seed dispersal means we as human beings also, sometimes we human beings are also carrier of seed. Okay, and the seeds can be found in the excreta of some animals. Now ecological balance. What do you mean by ecological balance? Let's imagine a situation in the nature. If all the peacocks got removed from the earth, naturally the number of snakes will increase. More snakes will eat more frogs and the population of frogs will decrease. This will cause an increase in the grasshopper population. They will eat more plants including crops, and there will be food shortage. Even humans will be affected by it. Fortunately, nature maintains the population of each species of animals and plants in sufficient number in order to maintain a balance. There should be a balance. Now, for example, here it is written, if the peacocks got removed from the earth, naturally the number of snakes, because peacock is going to eat snake, and if the peacocks are not there, who will eat snake? Nobody. So more snakes, there will be more population of the snakes, and they will be dependent on more frogs, so the population of the frogs will go down. And if the population of the frogs will go down, who is going to eat grasshopper? So this is how there will be imbalance in the nature created. So your nature itself is maintaining the population of each species, which is in turn keeping the environment balanced. See student, this is the funny picture given. The mice is eating the grasshopper, the eagle eats the snake. When the hawk die, fungi breaks the bodies down and turns them into nutrients. You can see this. What would happen if forests disappear? Permanent destruction of forest and woodlands because of large-scale felling of trees is called deforestation. Deforestation happens due to increase in human population and their demand for residential and agricultural land. As a result, lots of trees are being felled and forests are being cleared, thus destroying the habitat, means home, of several species of animals and plants. For our greediness, what we are doing, we are destroying the nature, we are destructing the forest. What will happen if all the forests disappear as follows? What will happen? Global climate and local weather will change drastically. There will be a great change in the weather. Many species of animals, plants and biological diversity will get lost. Of course, we all know that animals and plants, most of the animals and plants are living in the forest. So if the forests are not there, there will be no population growth of these different types of animals and plants, and this thus biological diversity will get lost. Accumulation means gathering of large amount of greenhouse that is carbon dioxide, methane, which is very harmful for our human consumption, into the atmosphere will take. Global warming will take place. Natural resources, timber, medicinal plants, fruits, nut will get lost because everything comes from the nature. Several flooding, soil erosion, landslide, etc. can occur. Thus, forest needs to be protected to live a healthy life. There should be a balance. If you are going to cut tree, you also have to plant equal amount of tree at somewhere place. So this is how you have to balance the forest. You don't have to cut forest for your just greedy needs. Here in this particular picture you can see students, natural greenhouse gas, more heat escapes into the space, greenhouse gas, atmosphere. Okay, and this is Human enhanced greenhouse effect. Less heat escapes into the space. Less heat escapes into the space, that is carbon dioxide, and more greenhouse gases. Means here, my dear student, what is happening? Your positive thing is happening and your negative thing is happening, because more heat is going into the space because of the sunlight and because of the forest. Here less heat is going to escape into the space, so more heat is going to remain on the ground. Okay, so more re-emitted heat. So you also have to remember that this forest plays a very important role in our life. The Chipko movement or Chipko Andolan is a movement that practiced in the Gandhian methods of satyagraha and non-violent resistance. This is mainly done through the act of hugging trees to protect them from being cut down. This was first started by Amrita Devi while protesting against a king's man to cut the tree. By 1918s, the movement had spread throughout India. This led to put a stop to the open felling of trees in region as far as the Vindhyas and the Western Ghats. What they did, they hugged the plants, and they gave their lives, and they did not let the plants get cut. They did not let the trees get cut, and this is known as a Chipko movement. Okay. Conservation of forest. Conservation means what? Protection of forest. Prevention of further depletion of forest is called conservation of forest. Few measures that could be followed to conserve a forest are given below. Afforestation means what? Afforestation means what? Planting trees on a large scale on lands where there were no forests previously is called as afforestation. Where you can find different lands on the earth which is very empty. So what you can do? You can make it nutritive and you can plant more trees there. Plant cultivation. Forest should not clear off completely for agricultural use. Loss of forest may lead to soil erosion. Only, you should have to only take a patch of the forest land and then you should grow it for the cultural area. But you don't have to take a full forest. Okay. Prevent illegal logging. These had resulted in the loss of valuable trees over many years. The government laid out rules to prevent illegal logging and made punishable, chandan, trees such as chandan, which is very sandalwood, which is very expensive wood. It is illegally transported, which should be stopped, and which is illegally cut. Prevent overgrazing. Sufficient pastures should be provided, especially in the area adjoining to the forest, means near to the forest, to prevent trampling and overgrazing of the plants by the cattle. There should be a sufficient planning done by the government as well as the cattle bearers. They should be having a sufficient pasture should be provided to them by the government area. Okay, so that they will not just depend on the forest area. That will lead to the overgrazing. Protection from the forest fire. Forest fire can be prevented by being careful while burning debris. Fire retardants and water bombs are also used to prevent forest fire. Forest fire are considered beneficial as they add manure to the soil, but have harmful effect on the animal, plant, and human life who live nearby. It is said that whenever the tree burns, it is also useful because its ash will get mixed into the soil and it will make the soil very nutritive. But what happens to the animals, what happens to the birds living there? It will have a harmful effect when there is a fire in the forest. So we all should take a preventive measure not to cut down excessive amount of trees, and also you have to conserve. Whenever you see a plant growing there, please put some water, please put some manure. In this way, what you are doing, you are balancing the nature, you are doing good to the mother nature which has given to you so many things. Hope you have understood the chapter, students. This is the flowchart, profile, what are the uses, forest, how we are interdependent, what will happen if forest will disappear, and conservation of forest, why it is important. By afforestation, regrowth of plants, regrowth of plant cultivation, you have to prevent illegal logging, overgrazing and forest fire. Thank you, students. Hope you understood the chapter.